We're here for our fourth and final interview here at the 30th annual ISB Boston Product Show. That's a mouthful. Dan Ramsey, thanks for being with me.
No, I'm happy to be here. Thank you. So appreciate it, Jesse.
Excellent. So Dan's been an ISB for a long time. Time, right?
I have.
Yeah.
I put my ISB hours in.
You put your ISB hours in, yeah. I remember Dan. Dan probably doesn't even remember me, but I remember Dan when I was first starting because he was like one of the senior people in leadership when I first started coming. So, and I started in 2012. So you were a veteran by then, right?
It was all facade, people thought that because I got on the mic with the young professionals. So
there you go.
And it's kind of, just faked it till you made it, I guess.
All right.
Good
job.
I had a positive influence if you remember me. I was just winging it like everyone out here.
Well, and one of my guests earlier, Tom Struble, blamed you for getting him involved with ISBE.
I pulled him right along with me, but I think he's enjoyed it over the years.
He does, no, he's that was the first thing he said. You were the one that brought him in, and one of my other one, Mike Levesque, was talking about Jack Campion, who I'm sure you've worked with over the years.
Oh yeah.
As being the guy that sort of roped him in and got him moving and engaged in ISB, and the rest is history. So,
everyone has someone that brought him in. Like when I got started, he was back in 2005, 2006, new to the industry.
Yep.
And it was Jim Grunwald. You see I think he received the
Jim was Tom's other
exactly.
person. So.
So the benefit, and we could talk about Jim and the benefits of him and some other ISB mentors.
Yep.
Had in my career, I could go on for days.
So if this camera was pointing down to the floor where there's not a lot of rugs showing anymore because there's just people everywhere, it's amazing how many people could trace their steps back to guys like Jim or Jack or that, I don't know, maybe a group of like 20 or 25 people probably. Yep. It's pretty amazing, isn't it?
It is. It really is. And the guys, they didn't want anything out of it. When I joined, it was, you want to learn about the industry. I just came in from another industry, didn't know the acronyms, was kind of deer in the headlight.
Yep.
And they took me under the wing. They said, hey, just follow us along and I'll introduce you to people.
Yep.
And as I stood there awkwardly, 24 years old, all these guys, I didn't know what to say, know how to talk. And they took me under their wing and just, hey, ask questions. Like, what do you want? And it was those people that helped progress my career and give me opportunities and develop friendships that lasted. There's probably a dozen people went to my wedding, 8 years ago.
Wow.
That I met through ISBE, and that's just the real personal relationships that have evolved.
That's awesome.
Through the organization.
So we sort of jumped right in it there.
Yeah.
But so where did you come from? What's your background? What do you do now? You're 42 North. You are 42 North.
Myself, so I'm lucky. Myself, my partner, founded the company, and we still both the principals and are the owners of the company.
Yep.
So life science, technical services company.
Technical services.
Okay. A lot of involvement. We learn a lot from ISBE as the technical organization.
Yep.
So we've got, we're large in Northeast, North Carolina, and we love it. Do
you have like a 34 North for North Carolina? I don't know what it is.
We recently found out we're competing against someone, with a similar latitude.
Dang it.
That's okay. It's a small world. We'll run into everyone, people from Boston and San Diego, right?
Well, and the connection between Boston and North Carolina is pretty strong. I mean, a lot of people back. You walk down here, there's a lot of people from North Carolina here right now. So
yeah, that's been absolutely, and even Texas. People are trying to collaborate. Boston's putting their name is on the mark. We're all mark on the industry. What are we doing? What's going on here?
Yep.
And from a macro standpoint, Boston's been early, and there's some of their, say, the fire drill we've had, and now those states are all rocking and rolling. So they're having the same challenges we have in Boston and North Carolina, which makes it a lot of fun to collaborate.
Yep. So what are the different roles that you've had in ISBE over the years? I know you're a past president, right?
That's correct. Past president, the board. I was involved international, but I guess really started when I first got in the industry, and so we joined there, and I was involved looking around within the first year. I was part of a good group of people with some board members who helped fund the young professionals at the time. And it was just a bunch of young guys and gals that were, hey, we're all new to the industry. Let's collaborate. And Boston Spa and the Boston chapter sponsored it. That really got my start. And really a network of individuals rose through all the way to the board, involved in the education committee, the social committees, communications, board level, president, treasurer, and all.
So pretty much everything
through for about a 14-year period. I was, and then international also, which was a lot of fun.
So if you were to talking to your 24, 25-year-old self or somebody like you, one of the things that we hear a lot is like people don't know where to start, or they'll join a committee and they're like, what do I do? Like, what would you tell that person?
Absolutely. I mean, the hardest thing is it's the hardest thing, right? It's like, how do you break the ice? How do you, if you haven't been in those environments, how do you break the ice? And one, look for someone, just say hi. That's the number one, is breaking the ice and having a conversation. It's funny. I'm very interested. People don't believe that, but I remember Andre Walker gave me the words of this wisdom.
Oh, he's another one. He's another one of the names. Yeah,
absolutely. He is a chairman and great mentor. And he said, I'm an introvert. He said, no way. Like, how can you? You play the guitar in front of mics, in front of groups of people.
Totally different.
Yep. And he goes, look, I wasn't. But what I've learned was when I feel uncomfortable to break out of it, I went and I saw someone and I forced myself to ask the first question and just to break that silence, and using that tool really helped get you out of the shell, because people in this industry want to share their knowledge, want to help. And that's what's consistent about it. And it's really, but you got to make the first step, and then people start reaching out.
Yeah.
And, but break that first introduction is always the hardest.
Right.
But really, a lot of people are looking forward to it. And all the people with the badges and the flags, we're here to talk. We
and
love
half the people
other.
that are sitting there that you got to go talk to, they're scared to death too. And you make the first step, then they're going to be loving you.
Yeah, and we were all scared one day. Every one of us there, we're sitting there petrified and didn't know who to talk to, and who these guys are older than me, and they use acronyms I don't understand. And that's the best place. That's the best.
I've been doing this a long time. I still don't understand all the acronyms. Yeah. What do you do? So something that I've talked about with everybody else so far is like, what has being a part of ISPE meant to your career? Like, what kind of impact has it actually had on your career?
So from impact, I could talk about it in so many different levels, from like personal impact, and then the social, from career.
Yeah, everybody at your wedding, you had to invite all those extra people. Yeah.
Yeah, and like in this event right here, it's really good. It's like, it's better than a high school reunion, right? It's better. You see a lot of good friends, people you do projects work with intensely, and it's a great collaboration. But within the ISPE, there's the technical element. That's where I went to learn and leverage. And so I did learn the acronyms, and I still refer to that technical knowledge. And all the team members, when we have problems, no one knows the answer, but you know who to call. And that was the big ones in my whole career. On the owner side, work problems, when I needed expertise, if I didn't know the person with the answer, they the person with the answer. Yeah. And that's how we all collaborate to get job done. Clients see it. I would learn from every phone call, every conversation. And it was just a way to grow continuously through that network and collaboration, formal and informal.
Right. And ultimately it got you started a company.
Started my own company. Absolutely. It was taking the
not independent of ISPE, I promise. Yeah.
Absolutely. The tool, team members, the mentors I needed for that progression, and my partner Rob also, is where we met these individuals that help, and we maintain and help brainstorm ideas. And it's the power of like-minded and curious people. It's really a great network, and I couldn't ask for anything more. I recommend highly. It's been integral to my development.
Yeah. So so something else, I think you guys are kind of unique in this, maybe, that I think is important here to show like this, because they always show up. You guys have a lot of connections and work a lot with one of the maritime academies.
That's right. Our alumni, Mass Maritime. Mass Maritime.
So you guys, what is it about? I'm just curious. This is totally random and not on our list of questions, but you seem to be unique in that your big part of your organization is connected with them. Is that right?
It is, absolutely. So Robin, myself.
What makes Mass Maritime so special for you guys?
So special. So
other than the fact that you went there, right?
Yeah. No, it's the best, right? Go Bucks. So Rob and I both went there, and it is a military school. Some like to say it's adult Cub Scouts or fake military academy, but in there it's a leadership academy.
I heard somebody say it was a paramilitary. I was like, I don't think that's what you meant, but I get it.
That's the phrase, right? And like we joke that it's the fake military, but we love it. But in there, it's your people you can rely on, and there's a team culture that we look for in our team members, having gone through it. Think of it from a maritime academy and their principles. When you're on a ship and something goes wrong, you can only rely on the guys next to you.
Yeah.
And part of their education and hands-on is they teach you that team collaboration and that team culture first. Yep. And that's the key. It's high-performing teams. It's the team next to you, your team member. Because with the demands in the workplace and everywhere, you really rely on that collaboration, and then that's what Mass Maritime teaches and instills.
Yeah.
And that's what we have found is that common thread. you can, they're willing to jump in and, into the mix with you. And that's great.
I think it's pretty neat. I went to a military school as well, not
Yep.
the Mass Maritime, but I do think it's neat, and it seems like there's a practical skill
Absolutely
level that comes out of that environment that you don't necessarily get from a more traditional school. Am I right in that thinking?
There's a hands-on, and in our environment also is some of the direction and SOPs and rigidity, you'll say, of that military background does play into some of the culture that's required within the industry, but also the technical attributes also. How do you operate? And they have skills similar to like some of the other military branches that have some regulatory authorities or oversight. It gives a natural progression to grow into this industry that is regulated. Also the nuclear and some of the power industries that have some of those components.
Okay. And as you can see, I think our lighting is really bad right now because of this huge this whole huge window behind us. But like all other military people, when you get out of the military, you grow a beard and you grow your hair out if you can. Because you're not allowed to do it your whole time you're in. So that's where Dan's at now.
That's right.
True, right?
It is. So what it was, I've had a clean cut ever. It was, I gotta say, it was a COVID hair.
Yeah.
And finally I was like, I can let it grow. I wasn't going to the barber. Then it went after like 6 months. I'm like, well, this is the longest I've ever done it for.
Yeah.
Well, let's go.
I did not do that. No.
And
anyways, well, cool. Well, hey, it was great to talk with you, Dan. I appreciate it.
It was
glad
great.
you could join me.
I love this. I love that you're doing promoting, and glad to help, and really just love to see how the organization keeps growing and really just help people that really want to motivate, want to learn more, and meet others that are like-minded. And it's the best place for it.
Excellent. Cool.
Awesome.
Well,
Jesse,
you have a great day. We'll see you down on the field.
I can't wait.